welcome back to Central Cell Online. My name's Tom.
And I'm Beth.
And welcome back to our dining room.
Yes, welcome to you guys if you're streaming in with us this evening. This is our 6th session of Central Cell Online, and we're being joined by churches from across Aylesbury.
It's true. So, hello, welcome everybody. This evening, I can't speak apparently tonight, it's a bit weird. If you are not with a youth group right now and you have stumbled across us on YouTube and you're all on your own in your house and you'd like to get involved with the youth group, then we would love to invite you to get involved.
You can check out the description and you can see links to sign up with Aylesbury Vale Youth for Christ, and then we can put you in touch with the youth group and you can join them every week.
Yeah, you totally can't talk either time. You can check the description.
I can't remember what I was supposed to say.
Yeah, I know. It was a good one. So, yes, we're also, obviously, we're meeting on Zoom at the moment. We want to meet in person. We would love to meet in person. We're glad we can do it like this. But that is the plan for Central Cell, is to get all of you guys in one room together so we can do this as one community. We absolutely love that. So the purpose of Central Cell is to guide you guys every evening through a little bit of the Bible, because at Aylesbury Vale Youth for Christ, we're certain you open the Bible, you start looking at it, you start wondering about it, you start finding out who God is and who Jesus is and how you can make the best of your life, and how you can be with God forever. So we are right now, we're in the book of Ephesians. It's our last session on the book of Ephesians 6, and it's a mega one with the armour of God, which I think you're going to love if you've never come across that before. And if you don't know where Ephesians is in the Bible, it's sort of towards the back after Galatians, before Philippians. There's a link in the description below where you can get an app called the YouVersion app. You can download that straight onto your phone and have the Bible right there.
Yep. So there'll be 3 sections to each evening, and every time there's a section we'll hear from some young people from across the town, and then it'll be over to you guys to discuss it in your groups.
Yeah, and then we always end with 2 things. You guys know this by now. The first thing we do is that we give you a chance to have a think, what is it that really stuck out to me today? And then the other thing that we do is end with a chance to pray. If you don't normally pray, that's totally cool. You don't have to, but you'd be totally welcome to as well, to give it a try.
Yep. So Central Cell always starts with an icebreaker, so we are gonna go for that now.
I think it'd be to go back in time.
I was watching this TV show. This person had a key where they would, if they opened up like any door and thought, oh, I want to go to this place, then it would take them there.
My superpower would probably be invisibility.
You could just go back straight in time and go forward. Well, that would be like controlling time.
And I was like, that is very useful because aeroplanes are expensive and they hurt your ears.
Because you could like disappear when you don't want to be picked for something.
To like understand history and also pass my history GCSE.
Oh, that would be so great. So basically just teleportation. I don't actually need like a key at a door, but that makes it more fun and interesting.
Or you just don't want to see a person and you want to go invisible and hide.
Welcome back. So, what would you have for a superpower?
Well, this is something we've discussed many a times. Toby asks this quite a lot, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I would have the power, a bit like Mary Poppins, to click my fingers and everywhere to be tidy and everywhere to be clean. That would be the most amazing superpower.
Yeah, I think you want the power to be a bit better than Mary Poppins though, because when Mary Poppins does it, she clicks the thing, and then everything like walks around, and
That's
the kids
true.
are involved.
That's
but what
true,
you're
no.
talking about is like going somewhere,
Click, clean.
bang,
Yeah.
almost as if
Tidy. Yeah.
that would be pretty good actually. I agree with Sheppy 100%. When I was a kid, there used to be a program called Bernard's Watch, which nobody would have heard of, but he got a pocket watch, and he just literally clicked the top, and everybody just.
And then what would you do?
Froze for ages. Well, you can do whatever you want, but he just goes around and no time passes, and then you can.
But is everybody frozen?
Yeah, everybody
So what
except
you- so
and
you-
there's no time.
No, I know, but then you can't do anything with anybody.
No, I know, but you can get loads of stuff done, and no time's passed. You can become a genius at anything. Anyway, this is not about Bernard's watch. Can you just concentrate?
I'm just interested.
It is interesting. Right, so sorry. We're in Ephesians. We're in Ephesians
the
chapter
Bible,
6. We're
yeah.
looking in the Bible. That's why we're here. We're in Ephesians chapter 6. We'd recommend if you've got one in your house, grab a physical Bible, because the great thing about it is that you can read along. Miranda's doing it for us this evening. Thanks, Miranda. You're the best. She's reading from the New Living Translation. So if you grab a Bible and read along, then you can look back at stuff that sticks out to you, and all the questions that are coming up are based on the passage as well. So that'd be super useful. So now it's over to Miranda for Ephesians 6, while I try and explain a little bit more to Beth about Bernard's watch. I think that's quite important.
Yeah.
Children, obey your parents because you belong to the Lord, for this is the right thing to do. Honour your father and mother. This is the first commandment with a promise. If you honour your father and mother, things will go well for you, and you will have a long life on the earth. Fathers, do not provoke your children to anger by the way you treat them. Rather, bring them up with the discipline and instruction that comes from the Lord. Slaves, obey your earthly masters with deep respect and fear. Serve them sincerely as you would serve Christ. Try to please them all the time, not just when they are watching you. As slaves of Christ, do the will of God with all your heart. Work with enthusiasm, as though you were working for the Lord rather than for people. Remember that the Lord will reward each one of us for the good we do, whether we are slaves or free. Masters, treat your slaves in the same way. Do not threaten them. Remember, you both have the same master in heaven, and he has no favourites.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for doing that for us, Miranda. We will hear a little bit more from her later on. She's going to guide us through the readings this evening. And what we're going to do now is we're going to hear again from Abby and Sheppy and Daniel. They're going to answer some questions based on that passage, and then we're going to throw it open to you guys in your youth groups to discuss as well.
Yep, so we designed the questions, so there is one that's relatively easy, there's a second one that's a little bit harder, and then there's a third one which is kind of impossible, but it's good for you guys to think about.
Yeah, because we want you to, we don't want to necessarily just have answers that you might know from Sunday school or from growing up in church, but just to think, oh man, I really don't understand this, and let's try and think about it. Also, the other thing to say is, if you're watching live, like you are right now, then please feel free to pause the video if you get into a really good discussion. You don't have to keep up with us. You can get rid of us and go where you need to go in your youth group.
Yeah, and you don't need to answer all the questions. Your youth leader will guide you through which questions they want to look at.
Yeah, so here is a little bit of a chance to think about Ephesians 6, 1 to 9.
My least favourite chore is taking out the food bin.
I really hate having to bath my dog.
My least favourite chore.
Because sometimes it's night time and you have to go in the dark.
Every single walk that I take her on, she ends up like a drowned rat.
I think it's unpacking the dishwasher.
But the worst part is that it stinks, basically.
She'll find some mud to go and jump in, and she'll end up a different colour.
I mean, it's fun at times, but it can be my least favourite.
Then she gets mud all over me because she like shakes the water off her, and she gets mud all over the bath, and you have to clean the bath. And oh my gosh, it's just such an annoying job to do.
Yeah, it's just not good.
Welcome back. So, what's your least favourite chore?
You should know this by now. We've been married for
well, there's probably quite
10
a few.
years. Don't. Let's move on from that. Probably my least favourite one, which I have now ceremoniously handed over to you, is mowing the lawn. Like, we've got quite a long garden, and to be honest, if I mow the lawn, it takes me like half a day, and I get tangled in wires, and I don't know what I'm doing, and it's all a big nightmare. But if Beth does it, it's like boom, and it's done.
I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of mowing the lawn.
I know, I suck at it. I loved Sheppy in that last one. He was just like, a chore I don't like. I can't think of any. I love all chores. The dishwasher, it's sometimes it's fun. It's not my favourite one. Sheppy, I want to know what your favourite chore is. Maybe you know how to have like loads of fun. Right. Also, I just need to say this. When we did the honouring the parents thing, about 10 minutes before we started this evening, Beth came into the room. She's like, I've lost Callie. I don't know where she is. And our house ain't that big, is it? So
I wasn't really worried. I was just a bit confused.
I was worried. I was like, how could she literally disappear? Anyway, Beth told her to go to bed. and then she went up to say goodnight and she wasn't in bed. And I went up and Callie was in bed. She was like, I hid behind the door. And I was like, oh, thank goodness. I thought you'd like been, I don't know, gone off on a trip or something. Anyway, so shall we carry on?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the next section of Ephesians. So it's over to Miranda. Thanks very much.
A final word. Be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. Put on all of God's armour so that you will be able to stand firm against all strategies of the devil. For we are not fighting against flesh and blood enemies, but against evil rulers and authorities of the unseen world, against mighty powers in this dark world, and against evil spirits in the heavenly places. Therefore, Put on every piece of God's armour, so you will be able to resist the enemy in the time of evil. Then after the battle, you will be standing firm. Stand your ground, putting on the belt of truth and the body armour of God's righteousness. For shoes, put on the peace that comes from the good news, so that you will be fully prepared. In addition to all of these, hold up the shield of faith to stop the fiery arrows of the devil. Put on salvation as your helmet, and take the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. Pray in the Spirit at all times and on every occasion. Stay alert and be persistent in your prayers for all believers everywhere.
Well, you probably can, but you can't like focus as much on it as like a quiet place.
I heard a sermon on this verse once, and actually he said about how the original Greek word that's used, it means we should pray recurringly.
I think it's possible that you can pray anywhere, anytime.
Because when you're talking and praying at the same time, it's kind of hard to focus on both.
It's more about having that constant conversation of prayer with God and just constantly going back to him rather than never stopping praying, if you know what I mean.
If you really want God to hear your prayer, then you can just pray with all your heart, and you can pray at any time.
So I don't know if we can pray constantly, but I know that I'm sure I can definitely pray more.
Night, day, evening, afternoon. You can pray as much as you want and at any time.
That is something I can definitely work on.
Hi. So I think you're a pretty good prayer.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
I
whether
do. I think
don't know
I know
whether
you don't
that's
think
true.
you are, but I think you are. I reckon you could give us some tips. Like, what do you think about praying at all times and how to pray and like?
Well, I think we can sometimes make prayer maybe more complicated than it is. I think it is good to set aside time to pray if you can, but at the same time, I just think life should just be almost like this constant dialogue with God, and that you're doing the washing up, or you're going for a walk, and you're just chatting about what you're thinking about, or what you're doing that day, or if you're having a conversation with somebody and it's tricky, then you can be praying about it while you're having that conversation. You can got a decision to make. You can just be like, simple. It's like, God, help me know what to do. Like, I just think we can just constantly in life just be chatting to God.
Yeah.
And that's just important, I think.
Yeah, and anyway, for us, if we tried to set time aside all the time to pray, we'd be in trouble.
Yeah.
The kids,
Hectic, isn't it?
it is, it's crazy. Cool, so this is the last little section of Ephesians chapter 6. Remember to pause the video if you need to, but here is Miranda doing this the last little bit. Thanks.
And pray for me too. Ask God to give me the right words so I can boldly explain God's mysterious plan, that the good news is for Jews and Gentiles alike. I am in chains now, still preaching this message as God's ambassador, so pray that I will keep on speaking boldly for Him, as I should. To bring you up to date, Tychicus will give you a full report about what I am doing and how I am getting along. He is a beloved brother and faithful helper in the Lord's work. I have sent him to you for this very purpose, to let you know how we are doing and to encourage you. Peace be with you, dear brothers and sisters, and may God the Father and the Lord Jesus Christ give you love with faithfulness. May God's grace be eternally upon all who loved our Lord Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I have seen someone faith boldly?
Well, I haven't seen anyone share their faith like boldly.
The first person that came to mind really would be my brother.
My best friend Reese, he was quite open about his feelings.
I remember when I was in year 11, he did an assembly at my school. He shared his faith and how God had really impacted his life.
My friends just say, hey, I'm a Christian and I just do believe in God.
His father passed away and he was quite open with me.
And I remember just being very much like, oh my gosh, I could never do that, because it was like the whole school, and I was just, at the time I was just definitely very embarrassed and didn't want people to think I was a Christian.
Because normally our friends don't like to be open with each other, mostly because they're boys. Don't know what that's all about.
So I think seeing my brother do that, I was just like, wow, God, he is very brave.
welcome back. We are going to be moving on to our next part where we give you guys a chance to think about what you might want to change up, give up, or take up.
Very good. You manage to remember that every time. You do really well.
Thanks.
Yes, this is the bit that we usually say is the trickiest, because we still think it is, and it's where you have a think back over the last few rounds of questions and you think, what is the stuff that really stuck out to me this time, and what is it that God might be saying to me personally? And because we think you open up the Bible and you start looking at it and thinking about it, and one of the key ways that God speaks to us is through the stuff that is written in the Bible, and then looking at that and comparing it with other people and saying, what do you think about that, and how do you think it affects your life? So some weeks you won't have anything, and some weeks you'll think, man, that was really important, and that's worth just writing down and keeping a hold of to look back at another time. So we're just going to have a few minutes now, 4 I believe to be precise, to have a think about some of the stuff that you might want to remember. Cool. So I hope that was helpful. If there's anything that really sticks out for you, make sure you write it down, and you can come back to it a bit later. So we always finish with a chance to pray, and this will be specific to your group, and your youth leader will take you through this time. You might want to pray for each other, for just one person, or for a situation in the world.
Yeah, and if you're not used to praying, then that's totally fine. Don't worry about it. You can either give it a try, or you don't have to pray. It's fine.
Yeah, and also remember, we think 10 minutes is quite a good chunk, but if you're finding that it takes a bit longer and you need to spend a little bit more time, just pause us, forget about us, and finish your prayer time. It's a lot more important. So we'll maybe see you in 10 minutes, and maybe not.
So that's the end of our session this evening. Yeah, thanks for joining us. We've had a really good time.
Yeah. So remember, if you've been watching this on your own, or you've just tuned in, or you don't know where you are or what's happening, and you want to get involved with the youth group, we'd love that. Just have a look at the description below, and we'll put you in touch with the youth group to look after you every week.
So next week is a social, and then the week after that is half term.
Yeah.
So we will be back together on February the 23rd, where we're starting a new series about Joseph.
Yes, that is in Genesis, right back at the beginning of the Bible. If you want to get ahead, it's an epic story. So we're excited about that. If you would like to answer some questions for us for that series, like you've seen this evening and in the other weeks, we'd absolutely love that. Just let your youth leader know, or get in touch with us in the office, and we'll send you all the information that you need. That'd be brilliant. But thank you for being with us tonight. Thank you as well to Miranda and to Sheppy and Abby and Daniel for doing the questions for us this evening. And we will see you in 3 weeks, which seems like ages. But yeah, we'll see you again then.
Bye.
Thanks for coming.